Chapter 28b. Coming to the edge of my enhanced garganta, even with my traveler essence propelling each of my steps to carry me past the total length of an average galaxy, the void between universes could no longer be described in terms of actual distance, so I was honestly unaware of how long it took me from the moment I chose to leave the Bleach universe and finally, my seemingly endless garganta tunnel connected to another world. Of course, I had hoped it was the DC universe, but as came out of my garganta above a thankfully this time modern city, it didn't take me but a couple of moments for me to figure out where the hell I was. Oh, this is some bullshit. I cried as I used a sonido to dodge a hail of laser fire. I came out of the very obvious garganta portal still in my more human form so I could, if necessary, fit in wherever I landed, but being in my human form I was easily seen and thus I was welcomed by a hail of laser fire from a fucking invading alien invasion of all things. Why can't I get to these worlds on a fucking casual Monday or something? I yelled with my hollow-like voice carrying throughout the battlefield city as cops and other armed people did battle with the aliens invading the city. I finally realized exactly which alien invasion I was dealing with as an armored Leviathan broke through the 5-mile-wide portal opened in the sky above New York City. Fucking Marvel. Well, at least it's in the same neighborhood. I muttered as I errantly pulled off the head of a Chitauri and then used the mechanical head as a baseball to smash into another Chitauri that I threw the head into. Even as I generally helped, however, I could, as dealing with alien invasions with zero mercy was already ingrained after the third Darkseid raid on Earth, I couldn't help but look around for the Avengers, and it wasn't until I found Stark Tower that I decided to see what in the hell was going on. With the loud sound of my sonido tearing through the air, I saw Loki and Thor already doing battle atop the bridge of Stark Tower, with Thor blasting Loki's clones with his divine lightning and likewise Loki using his magic to make clones run around Thor and hit him with projected weapons and other weaker elemental effects. Loki got fucked by a horse. I roared, making the two brothers freeze in absolute shock at my war cry, but before they could get their minds back in order my hand already dashed forward and drop-kicked the real Loki by pinpointing his location via my pesquisa straight through the glass of Stark Tower. "Who are you?" Thor yelled with his hammer Mjolnir at his side, and although he wasn't ready to smash me over the head with it, I could tell he wasn't all too happy at me interfering with his battle with his adopted sibling. "Thor, you go take care of the Chitauri above us. I can see through Loki's magic and will capture him so he will face Asgardian justice." I responded, and hearing me say I wasn't going to kill his brother for the invasion of this Earth, Thor nodded at my acceptance and word that his brother would pay under his own land system. Not that I wasn't really pissed at Loki for invading this Earth, as for one it wasn't really my Earth, and secondly, I knew all too well that he was being mind-controlled by Thanos for whatever reason. "You, droll freak of nature, how dare you kick your betters!" Loki roared as he finally staggered to his feet and glared at me, and looking around the bar area of Tony Stark's mega building, I realized something pressing. "But I am better than you," I said with my head turned to the side as though as I was looking at some retarded puppy doing something silly and wanting to bark in pride at its achievement. "I mean, I have a just as long lifespan. I am physically stronger than you. I can learn any magic I put my mind to fairly easily. And best of all, I didn't get fucked and impregnated by a horse." I wondered aloud and shuddered at the thought of giving birth to a full-sized 8-legged horse. "Quite saying that," Loki cried as he dashed towards me with several clones all armed with wicked daggers that just radiated magical energies, probably some terrible curse honestly. But as I said before, with one hand I caught Loki's slashing wrist and threw him over my shoulder, and as his clones went through my body like the ephemeral mist, I grabbed Loki by his ankle, and with a sickening crack I shattered the marble flooring of Tony's apartment as I used Loki as a fleshy baseball bat/pickaxe as I deliberately went around the super expensive apartment using the Asgardian prince's body as a wrecking ball to destroy the furniture. Sir. I do believe the entity named Loki is incapable of fighting back now. Perhaps you can stop breaking Master Stark's effects." Jarvis's voice came through some speakers in the apartment that I hadn't yet destroyed, so I gamely dropped Loki's half-dead from on rubble-filled ground. "Wait, Jarvis, you are still stuck in the Tony's toaster?" I asked as a devious thought came to me that could mess with the cast of the Avengers. "Well, that means the whole time travel nonsense hasn't happened yet. Whatever, anyway, tell Black Widow to use Loki's staff and stab into the energy shields surrounding the Tesseract as they come from a similar source," I ordered, with Jarvis going silent as I went over to overlook New York City that was being attacked by an alien army. I waited for the woman who had taken Loki's staff from when I kicked Loki into Stark Tower and showed the brat real physical abuse to follow my directions. "Bala," I muttered, jabbing a finger at a Leviathan that was tunneling its way through a large apartment building, and for its effort a purple ray of light sniped into its armored head and detonated within it, and instead of continuing to fly through the building it could only stop and remain there propping up the building, so it didn't completely collapse. Then for the next minute or so while Jarvis went to explain to Black Widow to at least try the method of a possibly insane person claiming to be from out of time, I just spent it hanging off the edge of the window of Stark Tower shooting low-powered ballas into crowds of Chitauri until finally with a loud thrumming noise I saw the portal above us disappear and all the Chitauri dropped dead to the ground as their connection to the hive mind controlling the race was lost. Wait. Wasn't Tony supposed to hug and nuke through the portal? I muttered before horror reached me as I saw a white tail of smoke in the distance through my supernatural senses. For a moment I considered opening a Garganta and fleeing as I had no fucking clue at all if I could survive being at the center of a fucking nuclear missile strike, but then I sighed as I realized instantly that it would be my fault, so I dashed forward in a combination of a sonito and using my unbound traveler essence to partially unbind myself from the very concept of time despite it draining me ruinously of power. As I made my way to the nuke and with a grunt I threw the already dipping towards the ground nuclear missile into my reality marble so it could harmlessly explode in my version of Ghost Mexico when I fully stepped back into the time stream. Fuck. I cursed as I crouched in agony, literally vomiting up blood, as being a hollow my very being was that of magic, a being of power. And draining myself completely of power could be lethal. Whoa, you alright there, dude? I saw you snag the nuke and make it disappear, are you alright? Tony Stark asked me as he landed beside me in his Iron Man armor, and as much as I wanted to wave him off and show off I had to shake my head. Nope, I am very exhausted. After saving your city and possibly world from an alien invasion and a nuke, can you set me up for a few days? I asked as I painfully got back to my feet as Iron Man seemingly took in my young adult features. Shit, you look young as hell for being such a badass. Yeah, sure, if there is a room you didn't trash with Loki's body you can crash there. But we need to talk about that whole time traveling bit and... Then Tony paused and I realized he was almost certainly talking to someone on the team or something via his helmet's communication system. Kid, come on. The Avengers are getting Sharma and you are being formally invited. Tony said, lifting one of my arms over his suit's shoulders so he could fly me off deeper into the city of New York, and I couldn't help but realize being flown by Tony's suit was part of my bucket list and it just got scratched out. Now I just need to flirt with Black Widow and my dreams of the Marvel Universe will be complete.